Hello, this is Behnaz and you're watching Collect English. Welcome to my channel. Today in this video, I'm going to teach you present perfect and present perfect continuous. These two tenses are one of the most commonly used tenses in English language. No matter if you are a beginner or an intermediate learner, stay with me and master present perfect and present perfect continuous. If you like the video, please smash like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Let's dive in. First, I'm going to teach you present perfect. The form is very easy. Subject plus have or has. Remember that we use has for third person singular plus verb 3. For example, she loves Star Wars. She has watched this movie 3 times. She is the subject, has the auxiliary. Because she is third person singular, we use has, plus watched. Verb 3 of watch is watched. If you want to change the positive sentence into a negative form, you just need to change the auxiliaries have or has into negative. The form is subject plus haven't or hasn't, or has not and have not, plus verb 3. For example, I haven't read this book. I is the subject, haven't is the negative form of the auxiliary have, plus read, which is verb 3 of read. What is the question form in present perfect? As you know, we have two kinds of questions: yes/no questions and WH questions. First, let's learn yes/no questions. If you want to make a yes/no question in present perfect, you just need to put auxiliaries have or has at the beginning of the sentence and change the sentence into a question. The form is have or has plus the subject plus verb 3. And if you want to give a short answer, remember that you should use the auxiliaries have or has. For example, have you had lunch? Have is the auxiliary, you is the subject, and had is the verb 3 of have, and a question mark. If you want to give a short answer, you can say yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Well, you are at work and there is a meeting in 10 minutes. And your friend Mary is going to attend the meeting too. You want to know if Mary has arrived or not. So you ask your manager or you ask your colleague, has Mary arrived? Has is the auxiliary, Mary is the subject, arrived is the verb 3 of arrive. Your colleague can say, yes, she has, or no, she hasn't. If you want to make a WH question, just put the WH word at the beginning of the sentence, then the auxiliaries have or has, then the subject, then verb 3. For example, you can ask your colleague at work, what have you had for lunch? What is the WH word? Have is the auxiliary. You is the subject. Had is verb 3 of have. What have you had for lunch? Your friend or your colleague can say, I have had a sandwich, for example. Okay, we are done with the structure. It was very easy. You learned how to make a positive sentence, how to make a negative sentence, how to make a yes/no question, and how to make a WH question. If you have enjoyed watching the video, please push the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Okay, let's go on. Now I'm going to teach you some time expressions that you can use with present perfect and present perfect continuous. Let's start. The first time expression is since. We use since to show the beginning of time in the past. For example, I have lived in Istanbul since 2013. It means that I started living in Istanbul in 2013. Another example, my brother has worked in this company since 1998. It means he started working in this company in 1998. For is another time expression that you can use with present perfect tense. We use for to show the duration of time. For example, I have lived in Turkey for 10 years. It means 10 years is the period of time that I have lived in Turkey. Or my friend has read this book for 2 weeks. It means that it's 2 weeks that he or she is reading it. Next is ever. We use ever in questions and negative sentences to ask or state that something has happened at any time in the past. For example, have you ever visited Paris? Remember that you should put ever in a question after the subject. Or, has the new employee ever talked to you? You should put ever after the new employee, which is the subject. When you use ever in a negative sentence, you should put it after haven't or hasn't. For example, they haven't ever tried sushi, or she hasn't ever had an accident. Next is never. We use never in present perfect to say that something hasn't happened at any time in the past. For example, she has never been to Australia, or I have never seen that movie. Remember that when you use never, you should put it after the auxiliary have or has. Yet is the next time expression that we can use in present perfect. We use yet in questions and negative sentences to say that something is expected to happen but hasn't happened up to the present time. For example, have you finished your presentation yet? It means that you are waiting for the presentation to be done, but it's not done. Or he hasn't completed the project yet. It means that you expect him to finish the project, but he hasn't yet. Remember that you put yet at the end of the sentence and the question. Next is already. We use next in questions and positive sentences to say that something has been done earlier than expected. For example, have you already finished your homework? It means that he has finished his homework and you are surprised. Or has she already done the dishes? It means that she has done the dishes and you are surprised. Remember that in a question you should put already after the subject. For example, in the question, have you already finished your homework? You is the subject and you put already after the subject, which is you. As I told you, we use already in positive sentences too. For example, they have already left for the airport. It means that they left earlier than expected. She has already done the project. It means she has done it earlier than expected. When we use already in a positive sentence, we should put it after the auxiliary have or has. In the example, they have already left for the airport, we put already after the auxiliary have. So far is the next time expression that you can use with present perfect. It shows that an action or something has happened up to the present time. For example, I have enjoyed my vacation so far. Or we have had 3 meetings so far. Remember that you can use so far at the end of the sentence or at the beginning. Recently and lately are another 2 time expressions that you can use in present perfect to talk about actions that happened not long ago. I have recently started a new hobby. It's painting. I love it very much. Or have you visited the new restaurant recently? Or they have traveled a lot lately. In the past few days, weeks, months, years, or over the past few days, weeks, months, years are other time expressions that you can use in present perfect. You can put these time expressions at the beginning of the sentence or at the end of the sentence. She's working very much and she has felt tired over the past few weeks. Over the past few days, we have received many orders. Now let's learn in what situations we can use present perfect. We use present perfect to talk about something that happened at an unspecific time in the past. Remember, in the past. I have read this book. It's not mentioned when, so we use present perfect. We use present perfect to talk about an action that started in the past and it is still continuing to the present time. He has lived in London for 5 years. It means he moved to London 5 years ago and he is still living in London. We have worked on this project since January. We started working on this project in January and we are still working on it. It's not finished. When you want to discuss about events and actions that have an impact on the present, you can use present perfect. The company has released a new product. I have already finished my homework. In these two sentences, you see the result and the impact at the present time. When you want to discuss past experience accomplishments, use present perfect. She has traveled to many countries. They have won the championship twice. Use present perfect when you want to talk about a recent action. I haven't seen my friend today. Already had lunch and feel full. Use present perfect if you want to talk about the numbers of the time that an action happened in the past. For example, I have been in Italy 3 times. I have watched this movie twice. Awesome, done with present perfect. Now I'm going to teach you present perfect continuous. There are some similarities and differences between present perfect and present perfect continuous. Now you are going to learn them. The form of the sentence in present perfect continuous is subject plus the auxiliaries have or has, plus been, plus verb, plus ing. Remember that in present perfect continuous, we don't use verb 3. We use the ing form of the verb. Example, I have been studying for 3 hours. I is the subject, have the auxiliary, been, study the verb, ing. I have been studying for 3 hours. If you want to use the negative form of the sentence in present perfect continuous, you just need to use have or has with not or ain't. I haven't been watching a movie since 2 years ago. I is the subject. Haven't is the negative form of have. Been watching a movie. Watch is the verb plus ing. So I haven't been watching a movie since 2 years ago. Like present perfect, if you want to make a yes/no question, just put have or has at the beginning of the question. For example, have your parents been living in this town for a long time? Like present perfect, if you want to give a short answer, use have or has. If you want to make a WH question, put the WH word at the beginning of the sentence, then the auxiliaries have or has, then the subject, then been, plus verb, plus ing. What have the kids been watching on TV since this morning? Like present perfect, we can use present perfect continuous in different situations. Use present perfect continuous when you want to talk about actions that started in the past and are still continuing. I have been studying all day. They have been working on this project for weeks. Remember that in this situation, you can also use present perfect. You can say, I have studied all day. Or you can say, they have worked on this project for weeks. Use present perfect continuous to talk about actions that has recently stopped or ended. She has been running and now she is exhausted. We have been playing soccer, but now it's raining. In these two sentences, the actions have just stopped. In the first one, it has stopped because she is exhausted, she's tired. In the second one, the action has stopped because it's raining. If you want to emphasize the duration or length of time, use present perfect continuous. She has been waiting for hours. We have been talking on the phone for a long time. In these two examples, the emphasis is on the duration of the time. Use present perfect continuous to talk about actions that have been repetitive or frequent. He has been traveling to Europe regularly. They have been attending yoga classes every week. We are done with present perfect and present perfect continuous. If you liked the video, please push like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching me. See you in the next video.